Ladies, gents, you're going to learn that one of the things I value the most in our chiropractic clinics is simple. It's you. And as we go through to morning, you're going to understand why. Now, Amanda, thank you for your support. She's fabulous. She is the head coach of Wellbeing Chiropractic. Amanda and I will be kicking your butts with love. And the reason being is you, our CAs, are the most important people in the organisation, bar none. And I'll explain why over the next few minutes. But what do the letters CA stand for? Can anyone tell me? No. Anyone else? Thank you. Who said that? Yes. All right. So chiropractic assistants have been referred to as CAs, but the reality is chiropractic assistants are actually our chiropractic agents. All right. And today you're going to see why I believe that, why you should believe it, and just how important, with respect to your roles in our clinics, with our chiropractors and patients, why you have the most unbelievable impact on people's lives. You see, the reality is what do chiropractic assistants do?
Everything but adjustment.
Pretty much. Okay. And I know this may sound a little bit far-fetched, but if you bear with me, it's not just what you do in clinics, it's the impact you have on people's lives. So what I'd like us to do for a couple of minutes is there are two main areas chiropractors on a procedural and process basis work in our clinics. One is obviously patient management and the other is practice management. Now Amanda and I spent a little while putting together a list. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a 2-minute break, and within your group I'd like you to spend a few minutes just coming up with a list that you're then going to shout out to me about what exactly you do with respect to patient and practice management. Go for it. Within your group, please. All right, so who would like to volunteer some of the thoughts you had?
So SCA is basically the first point of contact for patients. So
Yes.
we manage patient bookings. Sometimes we will help quell some of their concerns if they're quite scared at being before. We also manage patient rapport as well, where, like I said, we're the first point of contact. So our relationship with patients, greeting them friendly and in a warm manner, makes them feel comfortable and makes them feel not just like a number coming through that door.
Okay, so in actual fact, with the exception of the call centre, that call on your phone is your first point of contact, not when the patient walks into the clinic. When you answer the phone, what should your facial expression be? Thank you. Why? Because the energy comes through the phone. All right. Anyone else?
On that building rapport, like helping them to maintain their schedule of care, I think is very, very important.
It is. Thank you. Yes. And you know, we could probably spend a few hours going through this. So we don't have the time today, but these are just some of the patient management things you guys do that Amanda and I came up with. And yes, you can read the list, but you know what? You all already know it. And then we've got practice management. All right. And so when you actually have a look at what you CA's chiropractic angels do, you play such a vital role in helping the DC, but more importantly, by changing the lives of those who we serve, our patients. Now, let me ask you a question. How many of you feel you could handle 30 patients a day? Put your arms up. Everyone's arms should be up. Come on, I can't see them, ladies, gentlemen. How many can handle 40 patients a day? Why am I seeing arms down? 50, 60, 70 patients a day, 80, 90, 100, how about 120? Okay, how would you like, settle down. How would you like to see an appointment that is just under 100 patients for the day, 2 new patients and reports? And that was a slow day. And the reason I'm going to show this is because example is the best way for you to learn. And please understand, when I started chiropractic, I failed. I was no different to most of the chiropractors in that room, and I struggled. Kind of like, was it Dr. John Robbie was talking about? Okay. So this was my morning a few years ago. And this was my afternoon. It was 94 adjustments, 2 new patients and a few reports. And that is our Wednesday, which was our quiet day. In fact, my associate and I used to see on average 700 to 750 patients a week. How many CAs would that take?
2 or 3.
2. So if any of you don't think you are capable, let me tell you, you're very wrong. And the reason being is it's not the number, it is the processes and procedures that allow you to do this. In fact, the very best CAs, chiropractic angels, are those who can keep a clinic running when there are hiccups all around them, when things are not working as smoothly, and yet they maintain the stream. They maintain the flow, they keep the DC on point and on track, and make sure all the hell breaking loose around them doesn't affect them. And they manage it as they normally do. In fact, it's unbelievable how valuable what you do to help the chiropractic in words I can't even describe. My CAs were my mothers, they were my friends, they used to nurture me, they used to, because without them I just couldn't do what I did. And you need to realize This is what your roles ultimately are. So, I want you all to close your eyes for a minute. Take a deep breath in. And I want you to imagine that there is a magnificent ocean liner, and it's floating on the most beautifully flat blue water. The sun is shining, the seagulls are flying up above, and in the breach there is the captain. And this captain has before him a console. He has his navigational charts which he uses to guide the ship. He has his communication system. And he also has his computers by which he can control what the ship does. At the back of the ship, below the water, in the engine room, we have our engineers. Now they are totally oblivious to what is going on through the windows of the bridge. They don't see the sun, they don't see the birds, they don't see the water. Their job is solely to keep those engines running so that the ship can function at its best. Can everyone see that ship? Now I want you to see yourselves behind your front desk. I want you to notice your communication system. I want you to notice the patient paperwork which is going to guide you through the day, like the navigational charts guide the captain to guide the ship. I want you to notice the computers. And I want you to realize that you are actually the captains of our ships, our chiropractic clinics. And then you might say, well, hang on a moment, what about the chiropractors? Well, they're stuck in the engine room. And it is up to you to direct those engineers while they adjust our patients so that they too in turn can function at their best. Open your eyes. So now maybe you understand why I place a lot of importance on what you guys do. Now let me ask you a question. How many of you know what a subluxation is? How many of you have never heard the word? Okay. So subluxation is actually integral to what chiropractic is. And you are going to learn more about that today when we do our group catch up in a few minutes, half an hour or so. But it's what chiropractors correct. Now, subluxations, think of them as fixations, jamming up of the spine. And it causes problems not just within the spine, but also within the nervous system. And the importance of this is we are now going to start talking in our clinics about subluxation. We don't treat people in our clinics, we adjust them. All right? And these are some of the things we need to change our terminology around, because quite honestly, we don't really treat. It's wrong. We don't get people better, they get themselves better. We just facilitate that process. And that is what CAs and DCs do to enhance people's lives through chiropractic. So, if we then consider that we correct subluxations, there is also something else we do that's even more, as important, and that is known as unconditional love. Does anyone know what I mean by that? You know it. Tell me.
It's loving someone without a sort of relationship.
Yes. And that is what we need to do with our patients. Now, I've got to tell you, there were some patients I had no love for. All right? But the truth of the matter is, when they come in and pay for our services, whether you like who they are as an individual or not, you need to love them unconditionally. So, let me give you an example of how I see what unconditional love is. Just imagine for a moment, you've got a mum who comes in with her 12-month-old. And this little baby's being a grumpy little thing. And mum's going in. Anyone here relate to this? Yeah? And mum is going in for her adjustment and happily hands you the baby. And As she does so, you notice there is a rather gross smell. And as she hands you the baby, she says, sorry, didn't have time to change him. Yeah? Not yet? Okay. The thing is if you weren't there unconditionally loving this baby, this smelly baby, which is not even yours, and if you weren't there to help mum go and have her adjustment, what impact would that have on mum's life? You see, mum just happens to have a subluxation, remember that word, in her upper neck. Subluxation in the upper neck causes headaches, migraines, and mum is feeling pretty shitty at the moment. She has a thumping headache. Now, she's not in a good space to be dealing with her baby. She's not in a good space to really want to change a dirty nappy. And if she didn't get adjusted, I want you all to just for a moment imagine what impact that has on her relationship with her baby. She takes the baby home after her adjustment, and let's say life will be better, but if she didn't get that adjustment, what would her relationship be with the baby? What about when her partner gets back home? Do you think she's going to be in a loving, caring partner mood? What's it going to do for her relationship, her partner's relationship, and the baby's relationship? And this is how we impact lives on a very different level to just dealing with their headaches. Let me share a story with you because I think that'll probably bring it home and make a promise. It is an example I'm going to use when we talk to the chiros, but I wanted to share it with you because one of my patients came in and I adjusted her and she got off the table and she said, you know, my daughter who's 14 turned around and said something to me the other day and I actually was quite surprised. And she said, my daughter said, you know, Mummy, since you've been seeing Dr. Ian, you haven't been as mean to us. You haven't been getting as cross with us as you normally do. In fact, this is the happiest you've been in a long time. Even to the degree where you're now playing with us when we go out to the playground. You're running with us and catching a ball. You haven't done that in over a year. How does that make you feel? Pretty bloody awesome, doesn't it? This is the impact we have on people's lives. And so when we talk about excellence being the minimum standard our clinics are now going to have, I'm not kidding people, this is just too important for all the shit going on out there. COVID has been horrendous. What's going on in the economy is tragic. People's lives are being ruined, and you as chiropractic assistants, along with your DCs who you need to babysit, don't tell them that, we have a huge impact on the lives we come across in our clinics. So, some changes that are going to be happening hopefully through the Wellbeing Group sooner than later. To start with, your opinions and your ideas are extremely important to Amanda and I. In fact, so much so that if you think we can do anything better in a process or a procedure, please let us know. Tell us about where our systems are failing, okay? Because this is how we all improve. The word is called Kaizen. Ongoing improvement, coined by Toyota, the Japanese company. For those who excel as CAs, we're going to have a new class of CA, let's call it. How many of you know what a technical chiropractic angel is? That's when you're going to be involved with the patient as well. You're going to learn how to do some of the physical exam findings, like bilateral weight scales, like doing the HRV that Adam was talking about, doing posture, taking some notes, and being a part of the patient's journey through chiropractic. We are also going to be coaching and mentoring you all. Pod meetings, you will be having me and Amanda in your face personally and on Zoom or however we can organize it. And if any of you CAs feel unloved, please give Amanda or I a call if your DC is not serving you. We have your back, as they say in our profession. Ultimately, you will be the experts at discussing subluxation, innate intelligence, which you will find out a little bit more about in a little while, and why a chiropractic adjustment is one of the most beautiful and precious things you can give a person. In fact, you are going to be known as our super CAs. We have a special surprise for you today. You will all be getting your own puffy jackets, all right, and that is going to happen in a minute when we break. Absolutely. We are very much going to be more team moving forward, as Robbie said. Line is drawn in the sand today, guys. As the chiropractic angels of Wellbeing Chiropractic, I want to thank you all. Please go to the back of the room, grab your jacket, but do not go into the other room. I want all of you to put your jackets on and queue up outside the door. Please be quiet. We want a surprise.
Yeah, can we just do it a little bit more, just do it, yeah,